I don't know. I mean, I would think it was, but I mean, I don't want to give false credit.
So if I remember correctly, Ryan did all of Ratchet's animations, right? He was the hero animator?
Probably. Yes.
Stay tuned for more Secret Agent
Oh, Secret Agent Clank, such a good idea. I wish I could claim credit for that, but I can't.
Yeah, great.
So, while this is all happening, this was our second game that we've ever worked on as developers.
Yeah.
Were you still a junior designer on this game, or you had moved up to regular?
I had moved up to full-on designer at this point. And you, I think, were a full-on programmer, right?
I believe so, yes.
And what kind of things did you have to do with this game? I mean, you did most of it, right?
Well, I wouldn't say most of it. I mean, it was a lot of the same from the last game. A lot of levels. I did a little bit more weapons on this one than I did in the last one, which I will brag about later.
I know on this game you had the highest bug count of anybody that I've ever seen.
I think that was true on the last game. I think I broke my own record. Like, I broke it on RC2, and then I broke it again on RC3.
On this game, I think I came in second place for most bugs because I was fixing frame rate problems on this
But
game.
I imagine it was a distant second.
You had about 1,000 more than I did.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
you say second, but I mean, that's not really... that implies it was close, and it really wasn't.
Well, the third place was just about as far away also, so...
And so I think, if I'm remembering correctly, we're starting up with level 0.
Yes,
And
always level 0.
This was Jared and myself, I think, were working in tandem to get this level done.
So tell me a bit about like what went into this level, Tony.
Well, there was a lot. The biggest thing that went into this level were those robot soldiers that you see right in the beginning.
Yes.
Those were done by Jared, I believe. He handled those guys in most of the game. Yeah, you work on that camera. You make it happen.
Son of a bitch. Keep going.
And I mean, that was a project to have to work on those guys. Like, that was the whole game. Getting those guys to work was a nightmare.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that was mainly Jared's task for most of the game.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, he had a lot of those guys and a lot of the bosses and a few of the levels, but I mean, that was his big contribution to this game.
If I remember correctly, also this level is the same starting level as Ratchet 1, right?
Yes, because that's I think that you just came out of his garage, right? Or did we not come out of the garage? I don't know. I'm just talking. Whatever.
I'm still having camera problems. I think the garage is at the end, if I remember correctly. Okay. Why does it start inverted? That's retard. You know, I could go lock strafe too.
You definitely have to go lock strafe because that's the way to play Ratchet and Clank up your arsenal. And if anybody doesn't play that way, you're playing it wrong, and you need to learn to play with lock strafe.
I have an interesting story about the Galactic Rangers.
Let's hear your interesting story about the Galactic Rangers. And you just cut off my amazing energy beam effect, but we'll see it again later.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So let's hear your Galactic Ranger story.
The Galactic Ranger's voice originally was a complete monotone, like robot voice. I am talking like this. There are no intonation like that, right? And I hated it. I thought it was terrible. So I committed probably one of the worst cardinal sins you can commit in game development. But I didn't know. I was new. I went around and I ran around with a petition. I got everybody to sign it, saying whether or not they were pro or con. And then I presented that to, I think it was Brian Hastings, and he was not too happy with me. Deservedly so. That was kind of a dick move on my part.
That is kind of not the thing you do. It's not the most diplomatic way to try to go about change.
No, not at all.
That somebody is me.
We got a volunteer. Here, Sarge, take this. We'll cover you from back there.
Try using the nitro launcher.
So we gave you the shotgun and the bomb first, right? And That's different from how it used to be.
Yeah, both of the 1 and 2, we both start you off with a blaster and a bomb. And this one, we just went straight to the shotgun, because the shotgun's pretty amazing.
Okay, here we go. Alright. Yeah, this is it. The lock strafe. We're lock strafing now, Tony.
There you go. Now there's no going back. There's no going back ever in Ratchet and Clank. Once you start lock strafing, you are in. You are done.
Except the up-down is wrong. Alright.
Insomniac does love inverted controls. I think we went over this on the last game, but they love inverted controls at Insomniac.
Well, what's awesome is, oh god, sorry. They call it normal camera mode, but started off inverted.
And look at that awesome laser beam. Whoever made that laser beam is pretty much a genius.
Is that your final effect ever, still?
No, oh no, no, no. This was just straight up into the laser beam. I got chewed out a couple times for that laser beam.
Why?
Well, not chewed out, but there were disagreements. Because Roberto was the lead programmer for, I think, at least part of this project. I don't think for the whole of the project.
Alright.
And Roberto doesn't like my gigantic, big, bright, super flashy effects. He thought they should be a little bit more subtle, and I don't believe in subtlety at all.
You're not the subtlest person in the world.
No, not usually. And so there was a lot of conflict and back and forth about that maybe I should be toning down that laser beam a little bit.
Because they were too
They
ostentatious.
were too big, yeah, exactly. But I didn't budge, and I just, kept it big and flashy and shiny and full of particles, because that's how I do it.
And if we're talking about Roberto, now owner of High Impact, right?
Yes, that's right.
Who went on to make
Secret
several
Agent
other
Clank.
Ratchet and Clank games. At Secret Agent Clank, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. So, it's got a history here. God, I keep hitting the strafe button because I forget I'm in lock strafe. So if you see the camera lock up every so often, that's why.
So most of my level duties in this game were doing the Tyrannoids. So all the Tyrannoids, I think all the Tyrannoids were me, regardless of where they appear in the level, which was a big departure, well, regardless of which level they appear in, I'm sorry, which is a big departure for the way Insomniac used to do things, because we didn't do that at all.
Oh, right. If the same enemy model was in a different level,
It was a different enemy, yeah.
Yeah, someone would code it over from scratch.
But in this one, we decided to just make me handle all of the Tyrannoids in all of the levels. And, that helped contribute to my wonderful, massive bug count by the end of the level.
Oh, yes, because they had to pathfind in every situation.
Yes, that's right.
Eventually you came up, and we'll probably talk more about this later, but you came up with the Hunter, the Seeker, what was it called?
Something like that.
Hunter, I think.
I didn't use it as much as I would want it to, because it wasn't as robust as I had hoped, because I wasn't able to put as much time into it. But it saved my ass on a few instances.
So I think Ratchet's, that right there in the distance is Ratchet's laboratory from the first game.
Gotcha.
Or his workshop, yeah. And we're about to go into it, which is exciting. I remember on the first game I put in a bug saying that this building was too big for Ratchet to ever use, and I got an angry visit from Lloyd and another artist who were not happy with that being a bug.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad that you managed to piss so many people off in the early parts of your game career.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way to make sure that you continually get work if you just make people hate you over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, this fucking transport thing. This caused Carl Glaive no end of trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's all made out of ties.
That's right.
Which we're gonna have to explain at some point. Because I think we've said before that
Oh, I love this part.
Oh yeah.
This was also Jared. This was entirely Jared, and he did a great job with this stuff. I love this minigame.
I think this
was epic.
Designed by Brian Algeier, and I remember when he designed it because he was just taking the debug camera and cheating himself way up into the air, and then sort of seeing what it felt like to fall down, and he's like, "Hey, that's kind of fun." and he decided for it to be a mini game. I think when they originally prototyped it, they had Ride of the Valkyries playing in the background, and it was so epic. But there was something happened, and they couldn't get a license to use the music.
So this whole section, this is our big new feature for Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, which is the big battlegrounds. This was our arena replacement sort of thing. Even though I think we still have arenas, this was our continuation of how arenas were gonna go.
Yeah,
Just
like arenas
larger
with
scale
stories.
Battles coming from all over the place. Like this was one of our big features.
Sorry, continue.
No, this was just one of our big features that we were trying to work on in this game. And I mean, I don't know if it was ever discussed, but this was out of these sort of battlegrounds that we built up here. That was a lot of the inspiration for where Ratchet Deadlocked would eventually go, because we were so happy with the way that these turned out that we decided to expand on this even further, and that's where Ratchet Deadlocked originally came from.
That's a very generous way to say it, Tony, and very much in keeping with the first rule of this podcast, which is do not talk shit. It's funny, I keep seeing things, and they keep making me want to talk about stuff, but we're going to blow everything in the first level if I do that. Like, when the Tyrannoids disintegrated, it was a shadow volume effect. This was the first game we started using those.
That's right, and I think that was done by Keith.
Yeah, I think he learned how to do it, right?
Yeah, and
pioneered it.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it a little bit in the last commentary about how we had to do these ridiculous organic death effects, and he turned it into this awesome shadow volume effect, so it actually disintegrated into the form that they were in, and that was awesome. It was amazing.
It did look really good. I have a thing to say about this encounter. The entire purpose of this encounter is to teach you how to strafe, and to suggest that you switch to lock strafe mode. So it was designed so that you jump up here and you're safe because there's this little wall in front of you. But if you move out, he'll nail you eventually. So the key is you have to strafe, because if you're just doing the normal camera thing and then standing in one place, it won't work.
Right.
So it was also supposed to teach you about cover, which we had a really hard time getting players used to in the last game. Sorry to interrupt you, Tony.
No, it's fine. Share your knowledge, Mike. We're here for both of us, not just for me. I'm obviously the main attraction, but you're here too.
Oh, look, it's Bill Clinton, a.k.a. the Galactic President.
Now, is there a twist coming up with the Galactic President that we shouldn't spoil, or I don't remember at the story very much?
No, there's no twist.
There's no twist, he's just the guy?
He's just the Galactic President.
Was there any controversy about what particular race the Galactic President was?
Yes, but they came up with a name for it. It's the same thing that Sasha is, but it's not a Lombax. They're not Lombaxes.
And that was a large source of controversy for a while.
At least on the Ratchet forums.
Well, yeah, I mean, as controversial as it can get on the Ratchet forums, I suppose.
Oh shit! Nature's Mysteries!
That's right. Oh, this is I can't believe we got away with this joke. I cannot believe it.
Or maybe it weren't a banana. Oh, that one was Oliver. Oliver wrote that.
It's so borderline. It's such a borderline joke. I can't believe they let that through.
Well, I mean, if we have an ass joke in the title of the game, I guess a dick joke probably isn't that bad. It was flagged in the ESRB's rating thing.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, when we got back the report from the ESRB, that scene in particular was flagged as crude, toilet humor or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, fairly, I think.
So that was episode 1 of Ratchet and Clank 3, Up Your Arsenal, developer commentary. I'm Mike Stout.
I'm Tony Garcia.
And I can't fucking believe we actually got around to this. Catch you later.